Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is part like 7, 8, or 9, whatever. So in the last video I showed that with the stock 6075M or MyVec manifold, that all that extra flash casting on the front of it was interfering with the fuel rail. Yes, I know these still need to be cut, bent down, re-welded, no big deal. So with these in place on the stock 75M lower, got it all shaved off. I will be cleaning this up. This will be nice and pretty and perfectly flat, or flat enough by the time I get done so it looks really nice. Then I'm simply just gonna, put a little countersink in each one of these little guys and then weld them shut. But the more important thing that we're going with here is we're going to talk about throttle bodies and modifying the 75M to work as a normal throttle body. So as you see here, this is our dual overhead cam throttle body. Obviously I took the FIAV IAC valve off here, which is right here, and I'm doing what most people do from back in the day, where you cut off the FIAV part, the water crossover that goes in here, the little nipple that comes out here. You shave all that crap down, then you weld it all up, and you're good to go. Well, the cool thing about it, bad thing, cool thing, is realistically all you need is this here. All of this crap is just extra, and you'd probably only leave this on if you were putting this back on, like this dual overhead cam throttle body, because obviously you're gonna have to weld it all up, because you're trying to get rid of this stupid little water crossover, and you're trying to maintain your forward and aft idle air control slots. So with that being said, again, you're trying to maintain that beautiful balance or whatever amongst all this. And I know it's kind of hard to do, but I decided, well, I've got a spare 75 throttle body, so I'll hack one up for experimentation purposes. And you saw me when I took it all apart. Now this is just the plastic gear that normally this drive-by-wire motor hooked up to, went vroom vroom vroom, open your throttle body as you smashed your pedal, whatever. But big plastic gear, looks like there's a lot of weld material on the back side of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all that crap off, and I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my spare throttle bodies. I'm going to need one with cruise control, so I'll probably use the single overhead cam end piece with cruise control. Now these throttle shafts are, substantially large. What I'm going to do and see about doing is fully disassembling this throttle body, which is just a few screws, and then seeing what I can do to adapt, because you're still going to need throttle position sensor on this throttle body. Now, the way we can get around that is if this throttle position sensor can bolt to this through the shaft. If the shaft, you can take it, like what a lot of the DSM guys do is when they swap to the Jeep 62mm throttle body and you hog it out to a 65, they'll slot this on either end to allow to use on the stock DSM or 420A or 4G63 shaft to be able to run the bigger throttle plate from the Jeep 40 single or 40 inline 6 throttle body. So that's what I'm going to do, because I'm bored, and we're going to experiment, and we're going to take this apart, see if we can fit it in here. They have the same bore, cool. And you can already see that let me just zoom in. Oh Jesus, you can see I boogered up that little bronze retainer, and I smashed that bearing pretty good. Well, the good thing is it's got a really nice part number that's hard to see there, but if we just go ahead and pull the shaft out, you can see it right there, HK1012.2RS. I've noticed that if you put the FPM or whatever, it really doesn't matter. But if you notice, it says Germany VW on it. Might be a Volkswagen thing. I don't know. And yeah, I boogered this up too when I was cutting. Oh, sorry. Still. I nicked this a little bit, this little plastic piece for the throttle return spring. But I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried. And like I said, that comes apart relatively easily. Just keep all our pieces together. Like I said, I'll disassemble this one, and then we'll see if that shaft fits in that throttle body. Stay tuned. Alright, so we got this thing fully broken down. Obviously the 75M throttle body, the 72 dual overhead cam throttle body. Now the really interesting thing about this is look how wide that slot is. This is the dual overhead cam throttle body shaft, and the slot is substantially wider than the actual throttle plate itself. And if we put it in, you see holes are lined up. When you look down the sides, there's substantial gap in there. Like, that's silly. So have that. Now the really cool thing is, so again, we're all learning, I'm learning especially. So this big fat ass bearing over here is a different size than the little guy right here. See if we can get a... No, I'm not going to do it. Let's see if we can maybe do a little zoomy zoom. So that's a 1680HH made in Thailand. Okay, and if we look at the bearing diameter differences, you'll notice that the little guy is substantially larger than that guy. Now this is like a sealed roller bearing type, okay, and then again you had that brass or bronze insert that went in. So that one is smaller in outer diameter, but perfect in inner diameter. Now with that being said, the hole it passes through is also the perfect diameter. Now keep in mind this side here would be the throttle position side, and then this would be the throttle body side. Now if we were to excuse me, square it up in the hole, you can see, hopefully she'll stay focused, that slot is at full width now, like perfecto, like it was meant to be. So I'm going to clean this throttle blade up, make it nice and shiny and smooth. Open this up just with a flathead. You just give it a little stick a flathead, give it a little twist to open it up and shove it in there. Now we can clearly see there's enough throttle shaft sticking out on both sides to allow us to weld our plate on here. Have enough room for our this gaggle fuck of coiled springs. There's that one. There's the bigger outer one, and then there's this plastic sleeve that goes in. And then on the opposite side over here, again, we only need to be able to stick that on the actual TPS itself. Sorry, I'm looking at the part and I'm not actually looking through the camera lens. I apologize. So, and you can see here that that seal in there is just a basic rubber seal. Probably wouldn't hold, you know, anything for boost, and it's not meant to hold boost because it's an NA motor, so it's meant to hold vacuum. So that's the throttle shaft side there with your adjustments and all that. I just wish this sucker could get bored out. Now I'm very sure that if I bored this out and then I sleeved it and then routed slots through the top to be able to do keep my idle holes, idle air, and you know, because I mean, I'm certain, as you can see, this big guy right here, he's just dying to go in the front. you know. But out back, not even close, big dog. Like, if that was to bore out all the way, that would be rodonkulous. But you need it because you're almost at a full liter displacement larger with, alright, with anything else. So tomorrow we'll get in the mock-up stages of adding these springs in. That's good for there for right now. And see about getting the TPS in and installed. And then we're just going to go from there. And then if we need to, because of the lack of mounting points for the TPS, and obviously it needs to be able to seal up around it. So what we might do is we might, I don't know, I might see how low I can cut one of these to take this ring, if you will, and then weld it to a piece of probably 100 thou aluminum, cut out to this diameter, slide it down, weld it on. And you're like, Mike, why are you doing all this silly shit for just a big old throttle body? And I'm like, because I'm dumb, obviously. I mean, drugs would have been a cheaper choice at this point. Anyway, and then, like I said, with this, we're probably just going to end up slicing it off, making sure we've got idle air, front and rear. This thing in here is trash, don't care. So we'll put a plate over all this, and that way we only have to weld up that little gap right there, finish slicing this off, and then hit this with the belt sander, flatten it out, you know, make your little piece of 6061 to go in here. But I mean, honestly, it would probably be easier just to build fill, you know, here, and then have to figure out where to punch front and rear for the idle, because stupid Dodge, stupid Mitsubishi, stupid heads. Or I could just weld in bungs and do a remote IAC setup. Where's the fun in that? And then I could take this, bolt this here. The whole thing was I was trying to keep low hood clearance, like super low hood clearance. So that's still gonna be super freaking tall, man. Because that's bolted in right there like that. And then you're still gonna have another. Try not to be any higher than the intake manifold. That's the goal. So remote mount might be the option for this, simply because I really don't feel like dicking with it. And then we have this disgusting ass thing here. This is the actual idle air control valve, 6-wire. I can't remember how many Ford has, but Ford does do this you know, kooky ass remote IAC setup on it. So we might go remote IAC just for peace of mind. Maybe still utilizing this stock valve, because that would be the most simple, and then welding that up, making these holes round, putting in a couple bungs, then run that to wherever I need to, and then I really was trying to come under with it, you know, like a stock Mitsubishi product. But if I do that, I flip this thing upside down, that's going to be a hell of a time for the throttle cable. It might work. It might work. I'm not sure. Because then it's going to have to go up over the top of the throttle body, whereas when we were looking at using this thing flipped upside down, with the way it opens, it would be opening that way. So we're thinking about, you know, maybe that would route underneath the intake manifold and be, you know, a hidden throttle cable. That'd be cool. We'll cross more bridges when we come. I just got back off a little 4-day family vacation to celebrate the wife's birthday and just get away. Sometimes you just need a mental break. But that's it for now. We'll experiment more tomorrow with making things fit all of this. And yeah, just go with that. All right. Again, if you like what you see, subscribe to this, craziness that we're doing right now. Drop a like if you've enjoyed watching this Frankenstein thing happening, and subscribe, and continue on this journey with me, and let's see if we can have a running 75 MyVec on a stock Montero ECU for Christmas. That's the goal, is this in and running by Christmas. That would make me so darn happy. Later, dudes.